unscripted review on the Biden, I believe it's called the BD0179 chronograph quartz watch. This is a battery-operated quartz watch. As you can see, it's clicking over 1 second at a time. It is a date watch, which is in the lower 4 o'clock position. It has a chronograph with 2 pushers, and it is a 1-position crown. You pull it out, and it hacks the movement, which means stops the movement, so you can set it to 0 exactly right when you're setting the time. When you use the chronograph function, at the 12 o'clock position here, that goes around every 2 seconds, and I'll show you that. We'll click it on. So it spins real fast. Down here, this clicks over every 1 second, just like your second hand would do, your seconds hand would do. And this goes and shows you when it's gone over an hour or up to an hour. Every time this goes around once, this goes 1 click, and it's in 5-minute increments. Hit the button again, and it stops the stopwatch and sets it back to 0. With this, I'm going to show you the only thing that I don't like about this watch is that let's see if I can show you this. The double seconds hands does not line up at the 12 o'clock position. The other 2 hands seem to be good in the chronograph. The seconds hands actually doesn't line up either with the 12 o'clock position. It's a little bit before and after. That doesn't bother me so much. As you can see, it doesn't line up with the indices on the outside scale. Other than that, let's turn it over for you. It's a 3-atmosphere watch, which means nothing. In fact, it means, what it really truly means is it is not waterproof at all. Sweat is even a problem for a watch like this, so you really, really need to wear it when it's dry out. You can get light sprays of water in like a mist, or if it's misting out. You do not wear this in the shower. You do not wear this at the beach, period, or it will end its life very quickly. It does not have any waterproofing, probably does not even have gaskets in it. To that end, I'll say that it is a $20.54 watch on BANGGOOD. There's $3.57 shipping on top of that to the USA from Canada. It has a mesh steel band, which is a 20-millimeter band at the base, and it's got a double clasp, which actually works very, very well. It is a really good clasp. And it is a battery-operated watch. Like I said, it's a quartz-operated watch. It has a mineral crystal, not a sapphire crystal, which means you can scratch it very easily, so you may want to consider this a dress watch and wear it with long sleeves. That's what I would do if you care about this watch. But once again, it is a $20.54 watch. It also, the one thing I wanted to mention is how you can wreck a watch like this very quickly, and a lot of people don't know this, but when it's setting the date at the 4 o'clock, when it is changing over naturally, and that's anywhere between, every watch is a little bit different, but anywhere between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. is when you don't want to use those pusher buttons on the side or set the watch at all. When it's in that natural state of changeover, if this watch is going to fail mechanically, it'll be because you tried to use the mechanical switches or tried to set the time mechanically while it was in that changeover mode. So that is one good way to keep your watches from failing, all watches, even good watches, believe it or not. That's a little tip. I hope you use it wisely. This is a 1-position crown, which means it only pulls out to 1 click, which makes that difficult to set the date typically. It doesn't set the date by just turning it like you would expect on a watch with 1 click. So it just spins around. So on older style watches, you'd pull it out 1 click and you'd have to keep on going around and around. Every 24 hours it would click over once, and that would just be ridiculous. This watch does one thing that helps that out. It will also go in reverse mode. You can go counterclockwise, and this will go down in numbers. Now, I don't recommend going counterclockwise on any watch ever, but since it's an inexpensive watch, and if you're a couple of days, you know, like 5 or 6 days away from the number you want, and it's easier to go down than it is to go up, go down, just proceed very carefully. Don't spin it at light speed, and you'll save your watch from that. Those are the things that basically kill these Chinese watches, is doing something that you shouldn't do. And they will not tell you what you shouldn't do because they want you to buy another watch. Or no watch at all, I guess. Anyway, that's what this watch is about. It wears very nicely. I'm going to shut the video off just for a second and put the watch on so you can see what it looks like. It is a 40 millimeter case, which is a smaller case, which is what I like. I don't like a big clock on my wrist. Big manly watch with diamonds and retarded stuff. That's just an opinion, but this isn't a girly watch either. So hang on one sec. That's what it looks like on the wrist. Pardon my little cut I had there. That's from work. Anyway, that's what it looks like. It's does not sit too high on the wrist, and I forget what it was. I'll put all the dimensions in the description of this video, but it's a good looking watch, really, in blue. I never thought I'd own a blue watch, but for $20.57, you know, you can't go wrong. 54 cents rather. I think it's a good looking watch. I may take it apart and fix that that hand up there so it lines up a little bit better. It is a pop-off back, not a screw-down back. Just so you know, it's like an inexpensive watch. But the double clasp works very well. It does not protrude out very, very far. And it's a good-looking watch. Anyway. Alright, I figured out how to do hand alignment on this if you need to align any of the chronograph hands. All you have to do is, this is hard to do here, but you pull out that hand, and if you want to go in one click increments, well actually, I think if you hold this down, it'll go fast, and then you can go in one click increments to get that aligned. And then, if you're going to do the bottom one, which is the 1 minute counter, and this is the 1 hour counter, this is connected to this. So if you go around once, this will go over one click. So you're going to have to go around 60 times to get this thing done. It again works the same way as this one. If you hold it in, it will go fast once. If you go one click at a time, it'll just go very slowly so you can bring it right to 60. But you got to make sure that this is at 62. So alignment is done that way. As you can see, it hacks, by the way. When you pull this out, the second hand stops, which is a very cool feature. And that way you can align it to your phone. You can time it to your phone exactly when it hits like 12 o'clock exactly. You push it in and it'll start. So that's pretty cool. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you. Yeah, this, when you're in the chronograph mode and you're just timing something, there's no instructions with this watch, so it's best you listen to this. This will go around for 60 seconds. It goes 2 seconds every time it goes around once, and it will only do it for a minute. But the stopwatch is continuing. They just don't want to kill the battery by spinning this unnecessarily. So these two are still functioning. So if you stop the watch, this will go to where it would have stopped if it had kept going. That's really hard to understand, but I guess I can show you what I'm talking about. So let's do it for a minute, okay? We'll start it, and you'll see that this will stop when this goes around once. That's going to stop, but this is going to keep going, and so will that one. So sorry to make you wait a whole minute, but we're into it for 15 seconds as it is. Anyway, there's no instructions whatsoever with any of these watches, so I assume that any one-click crown that you have on the Biden watches with a 3 subdial chronograph will do the same thing. This is not just for this particular watch. Anyway, sorry to waste your time here. Maybe we can speed this up a little bit. Alright, it's getting there. Almost there. and you're going to see it stop. Ready? Boom. And now it's going to keep going though. And now if you want to stop it, you can hit this, and now that's going to where it would have been if it had kept going round. But everything is stopped in the chronograph. Then if you want to reset it, you just hit the bottom B button and poof, everything goes right back to 0. Alright, that's all I wanted to show you.